Laura Loomer, one of Donald Trump's closest advisors, launched a racist attack against Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, posting this. She, of course, is in Trump's ear constantly, and so go ahead and pull it up. This is the tweet right here. It hurts my heart that we have a ghetto black bitches who hate America serving in Congress. Now, she was angry because of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett's response on various shows to the shooting death of Charlie Kirk. Now, she posted that, then she doubled down, mocking Crockett as a so-called DEI Sheniqua, a racist, sexist swipe meant to discredit her work. Now, Loomer has a long history of hate speech. It has been banned from multiple platforms. Again, Donald Trump calls her a free spirit and a patriot. That's who she is. Y'all can roll some of this crap.
That would ensure that the U.S. court, public agency, or any other legal institution never enforces or legitimizes Sharia law. And yes, there actually is Sharia law. Places like Minnesota, places like Michigan. But now you may have seen this video that has since gone viral in Texas. This video went viral several weeks ago, but I'm going to show you several examples of Sharia law here in America, because some of you are like, wait, what? Sharia law here? And the president himself mentioned Sharia law during his address today at the United Nations General Assembly and said that we can't allow that here in the United States. Let's go ahead and get Representative Randy Fine's legislation up on the screen here for people.
So again, I just want y'all to know that Donald Trump listens to her all the time. Donald Trump is taking her advice. She's actually led Donald Trump to fire a number of people from the federal government. But this is who these folks are, okay? They can't make an argument based on substance, so they have to resort to racist attacks. So, Andrew, none of us are shocked by the Loomers of the world. None of us are shocked how they act, how they respond. And so this is Donald Trump, this is MAGA, this is the Republican Party.
Yeah, we're not shocked, but it's still jarring to hear in such a public space people speak so negatively about another black woman. I mean, black women make up 4% of Congress, but if you see the clips, it's almost every single time that they open their mouth, they're attacked. And Jasmine Crockett is somebody that is unapologetically black, and she's unapologetically in her space, and she speaks the truth. She speaks through facts. Now, sometimes people might think it's insulting, but she still is speaking through facts. And the way that she's presenting it, I guess they would like her to not be as affluent and not be as articulate as she's speaking, but she's a very, very powerful woman. And Loomer attacking her is just in my eyes, it's very disgusting. And it should be, I'm glad that she's kicked off of these platforms, because it's something that should never be seen, especially by young, impressionable children.
But this is what they do. And so, again, they can't make an argument on the merits, so they have to resort to race.
Exactly. And every time that they resort to race, for us, Roland, because we've been around for a while, we know that it's the tactic of, I can't beat you on the merits, so I'm going to go and attack you on race. We saw it with the birther movement with Obama. He was so articulate, so intelligent that they couldn't do anything but just attack. Well, maybe he's not really an American citizen. And wake up, because this has got to stop. This division in 2025 has got to stop. It is not black versus white. These are socioeconomic issues. And if white folks would stop voting against their own interests, maybe our country could progress.
Yeah, but what they're doing is they're appealing to their base. That's the whole deal. The reality is these folks in their racial language, that appeals to the right-wing base.
And Roland, the right-wing base, we have to really examine who the right-wing base is, right? Because if the right-wing base are all racist, if we're just going to categorize them as all racist, then how did Donald Trump win the election?
No. It's not categor. See, it's not. See, this is not the issue. The issue is not categorizing all of the right-wing basis races. The issue is that racists are very comfortable in the right-wing base. So the tent of the right wing welcomes the racist.
Now that is a thought. That is a thought that is chilling to me because Republican.
But it's not chilling. David Duke ran as a Republican in Louisiana. Mitch McConnell has a gleeful picture standing in front of a Confederate flag. When the January 6th white domestic terrorists attacked the United States Capitol, they were waving Trump and Confederate flags. This is who they are. The only party that defends Confederate statues and monuments are Republicans. Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth brought back the Robert E. Lee painting at West Point. They brought back the naming of these bases. They embrace that racism in the past. They want to limit the telling of the real history of this country to resort back to his story. So the bottom line is this here. And so they love talking about racist Democrats and the Klan and things along those lines. Well, let's be real clear. The folks who were racist Southern Democrats, they're now Republicans.
And now you got to think about, is it the party of racists? Because if Democrats were doing this and supporting this, then you have to kind of, anybody that identifies, right? You can't say that, oh, I identify with their tax policy, so I'm a Republican, and ignore everything else that they're doing.
No, they do. No, they do. I was playing golf, and politics came up, and this white guy goes, yeah, I can't stand a lot of the crazy stuff he does, but I'm voting for him because of his policies. So, no, they are making a concerted effort. The folks who vote for Donald Trump are making a concerted effort to actually vote, to make a concerted effort to ignore what he says about women, to ignore what he says about black people, to ignore what he says about, all undocumented workers, they're all criminals. They all came out of prisons. Listen, a white woman made up the story about Haitians eating cats and dogs. And what happened was her animal was actually found. She later apologized. They made it up. But guess what? Donald Trump was on the airplane with Laura Loomer flying to Philadelphia, and it's no shock that that's when he brought it up in the debate against Vice President Kamala Harris. So this is who they are. They know that race works on the Republican side. You press the button of race, white conservatives react.
And it shouldn't be like that in 2025. That's the point that I'm making, that in 2025 we should be able to move past race and see that race is not really the deciding factor.
Hold on, Andrew, I'm sorry. I know you want this nice Pollyanna world. That world is not here. Lee Atwater, the person who was behind the election of President George H.W. Bush, who was later named the head of the Republican Party, that individual, Lee Atwater said, hey, it's recorded. It's recorded. He said, we don't have to use the N-word anymore. There's other language that we can use that appeals to our base. He said it.
So every single time now that we have a Republican candidate, they're going to insert race to be able to divide their base. I don't think they're dividing their base.
No, they're not dividing their base. They're not dividing their base. What they're doing is they are inciting their base. Listen, you can campaign on race. Where did Ronald Reagan start his presidential campaign? The same place, with the same county where the 3 civil rights workers were killed. Ronald Reagan could have picked anywhere in the country. Nope. He chose to do it in the county where Cheney, Schwerner, and Goodman were brutally murdered by the KKK. Yep, he did that. That was Reagan. Wow. That was Reagan. So it's no surprise that Reagan refused to veto the anti-apartheid bill. That's no shock. It's no surprise. He opposed the federal holiday of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's no surprise that he made up the welfare queen story of a black woman who was stealing money on welfare. Okay, that's who he was. Now, he might have had a great smile. He may have been, the gipper and all this sort of stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't racist. And see, what we've done in this country, what we've done is, we have to understand there are racists and there are people who practice racial politics, and that's the difference. And so we have to recognize these things, and that's why I'm just saying that they are who they are. They are who they are, and they are going to use the issue of race. You could be talking to a Republican group of white Republicans. This happened in Chicago. There were a group of black Republicans in Illinois who were presenting data, trying to get the Republican Party to appeal to African Americans. After the presentation, the first thing the white Republicans said, "Now we're not going to support the increase in welfare." Black Republicans looked at each other like, "Did any of us bring up welfare?" But that's state of mind, bruh. That's just who they are.
And for me, I think that I actually am going to go back on something that I said. Based off of what the Republicans are saying now outwardly, because they really aren't hiding it anymore. If you still identify with the Republican Party, you can't separate yourself from that view. You can't keep saying it's about tax policy. You can't keep saying that it's about their world views or their nationalism. This is simply, they're going after race. They're attacking black cities. They're attacking black mayors. They're going after race. So I think at this point, if you're part of the Republican Party, then you got to accept that you're for racism and you're for these racist ideologies.
Oh, no. They don't. No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Again, they're going to say, "Oh, how dare you? How dare you bring up race?" They're not going to say that, "Oh, well, you know what? When it comes to, the death penalty, no, you just can't sit here and make this thing about race. You can't do that. This is who they are." And so, again, for the people who don't know, who are unfamiliar with this, go to my iPad. This is what I call the Atwater tapes. Go. And I want y'all to listen. Turn the audio up. Actual words of one of the top Republican strategists, the late Lee Atwater.
Here's how I would approach that issue as a statistician or no, as a psychologist, which I'm not, is how abstract you handle the race thing. In other words, you start out, and now y'all aren't quoting me on this. You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 1968, you can't say nigger. That hurts your backfire. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff.
You hear that? He said 1954, you would say nigger, nigger, nigger. 68, you can't say nigger, nigger, nigger. He said, so what do we start saying? Forced busing, states' rights. Keep listening.
And you're getting so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is part of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that we're doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying we want to cut taxes, we want to cut this, and we want is much more abstract than even the busing thing. And a hell of a lot more abstract than nigger, nigger, you know. So any way you look at it, race is coming on the back burner.
That was Lee Atwater. The Republican Party has been executing that strategy ever since. It started off as a Southern strategy, and it has continued ever since.
And now the key term is DEI and the attack of DEI.
Yeah, no, it's the latest. No.
Yeah.
In 2021, it was BLM terrorist. 2022, critical race theory. 2023, woke. 2024, DEI. When they say DEI hire, before that it was affirmative action. Before that it was quota. Before that it was nigger. They're all associated.
And now it's race. Everything has to be race neutral, which I think is going to be going into 2026.
Which is nonsense.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, we just have to understand the game that they're playing, just like they're trying to play the game right now. No, I went back and listened to what Charlie Kirk had to say. And y'all are taking it out of context. No, we're not. But they're trying to explain it all away. That's what is going on. So I just need people just to realize that, listen, the strategy has never changed. It has never gone away. It simply morphs into something else. And what did Lee Atwater say there? He said it was the abstract. He said if we keep it in the abstract. He said if we talk about cutting taxes, he said that's going to hurt black people. When we start talking about a smaller government, he understands what that means because 1 out of 5 African Americans work for government. We just have to, 1 out of 5 every federal employee is African American. We just need to understand what's going on here. And so the problem is with white mainstream media, they don't want to deal with the issue of race. They want to say, oh no, these white people in the Midwestern states, the flyover states, no, it's economic anxiety. No, it's not. It's in the data, their actual feelings. And so we just have to be honest. The attacks on immigration ain't got nothing to do with sitting there. It's white fear. That's why I called my book what I called it. And so again, I need you to understand. Pull the book up. I need you to understand why the photo I chose. It is a photo from January 6th. White man has his arms outstretched, and what that symbolizes is all of this is ours. All of this is ours. That's what that photo symbolizes, and that's what this is all about. And so, unlike these other folks in mainstream media, we just call it what it is. We're real clear on what it is and what's happening right now in America. This whole white Christian nationalism, it all boils down to they are scared to death that they are going to be the minority in this country. And that's what they can't handle. These white men, these white conservative Christian men, they want their white women to shut up, stop working, stop going to college, and just lay your ass down, get pregnant, have babies, and get in the kitchen. That's what they want. It is a race policy because they can't stand the fact that you have an increasing number of Latinos, African Americans. They can't handle it because in their view, this is America. It's ours. And from that movie I always show it, The Good Shepherd, when he said, the rest of you are just visiting. That is their view.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.